Tired of stubborn dark spots that just won't fade no matter what you try? Whether it's melasma, acne scars, or sun damage, hyperpigmentation is an absolute pain in the behind. In your search for the best ingredients to treat that hyperpigmentation, you might have heard about Arbutin, often called the natural alternative to hydroquinone. Well, today I'm breaking down how it works, if it is safe, how long it will take to see results, and how to best incorporate it into your routine. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Anne, a medical doctor here to teach you how to best take care of your skin and general well-being. Arbutin comes from the leaves of different plants, including blue and bearberries. It is closely related to hydroquinone, one of the most potent ingredients we have to target hyperpigmentation. If you look at its structure, you can see that it's basically hydroquinone with a sugar molecule attached. You might come across the different names for it: Alpha Arbutin, Beta Arbutin, and Deoxyarbutin. While Beta Arbutin is the one naturally occurring, the other two are synthesized and seem to be more stable and effective. If you have watched my video on the 10 best ingredients to fight hyperpigmentation, you will know that developing hyperpigmentation is a complex process with several steps, each of which can and should be addressed. Here is the video for explanation. Arbutin works by 3 different mechanisms. It competes with tyrosine for its spot in the enzyme tyrosinase, meaning it occupies the spot tyrosine needs to fit into in order for melanin to be built. It also inhibits DHICA polymerase activity, again hindering melanin production. And lastly, it slows down the process when the existing melanin is packaged into so-called melanosomes, which are the parcels in which it is distributed to their final place in the keratinocytes. All 3 mechanisms mean it prevents new hyperpigmentation after a trigger from forming, allowing the existing one to be slowly exfoliated off and brightened in the process. It does not bleach the overall skin and has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Arbutin is closely related to hydroquinone and can, through enzymatic processes, release hydroquinone over time, with it split up into glucose on one hand and hydroquinone on the other. But while both have similar effects on the skin in the way they target hyperpigmentation, there are also profound differences. Hydroquinone is in highest concentrations cytotoxic for the melanocytes and the melanosomes, meaning it can destroy them. That is a very effective and final way of preventing hyperpigmentation, but also the reason why hydroquinone can be very irritating and has some side effects that make it unfit to be used over a prolonged period of time and without a doctor's guidance once you surpass a certain concentration. I'm not going into too much detail here, as I have a whole video on hydroquinone already. Arbutin has a competitive effect, meaning it doesn't damage or destroy anything, it merely slows down the process, making it much safer and less irritating. And even the small amount of hydroquinone it can release on the skin through enzymatic breakdown will not reach the concentration of a dedicated hydroquinone product. That of course also means that the effect it has is much slower and much weaker than the effect of hydroquinone, which is the gold standard for treating stubborn pigmentation like melasma. In the end, if Arbutin or hydroquinone is better for you as an individual will depend on the severity of your hyperpigmentation, your skin's threshold for irritation, and the question if you want a drug treatment prescribed by a doctor and requiring regular follow-ups, or something you can get over the counter. The gentler a product is on the skin, the longer it will take to see results, so have patience. Hyperpigmentation will always take ages to fade, and the fact that Arbutin works at the production part means that first the already existing one needs to exfoliate off, so basically grow out layer by layer and then fly off in the wind before you can see that there's no new one forming underneath. A process that will, depending on the rest of your routine, take several weeks. Assuming that you diligently protect your skin from the sun and other triggers, meaning you wear that SPF and have inflammatory triggers in your skin like acne or eczema under control. If there is ongoing inflammation, the Arbutin won't be strong enough to stop new pigmentation from forming. That would be like trying to empty a bathtub with a cup while the water is still running. Arbutin is an ingredient that can very well be used in the same routine as others. In fact, when pairing it with other ingredients targeting hyperpigmentation like niacinamide or vitamin C, they can develop synergistic effect, meaning that together they work even better than the individual ingredient on its own. Of course, the usual words of caution apply. Don't throw a ton of different things on your face and then act surprised if you get irritation, but adding Arbutin into your existing regime shouldn't pose difficulties. Don't pair it with benzoyl peroxide or hypochlorous acid directly, as both are oxidants that will hinder its antioxidant abilities. Let them absorb first and then go in with your routine. In terms of when Arbutin fits best into your routine, it's completely up to you. You can use it both morning and night or even twice a day, and as mentioned before, you can pair it with anything you already have in your routine. Daily use is not a problem either. At which step in your routine you should apply depends on the product you choose, but generally speaking it belongs to the treat step if you follow the cleanse, hydrate, treat, protect plan. Usually concentrations of up to 2% are available, but here, like in any other product, it is true that the concentration on the label, if disclosed at all, only tells one part of the story and that the formulation will affect its efficacy much more. The fact that it is so closely related to hydroquinone is probably the reason why people are unsure about the safety of Arbutin. So to make it crystal clear, Arbutin is safe for long-term use. There's no need for a break after a certain period of time, like there is with hydroquinone, and no need for people with skin of color to fear hypopigmentation. Remember, it is not cytotoxic, meaning it will not permanently damage your melanocytes. It is also non-irritating, meaning the possibility to trigger hyperpigmentation in itself through causing inflammation in the skin is minimal. Never zero, because there's no such thing that is completely free of any risk for irritation. It always comes down to your skin. There are only two theoretical scenarios in which it could have adverse effects. One is if it isn't stored properly and the container is exposed to temperatures well above 40 degrees Celsius for prolonged periods of time. In this case, it could degrade in the container and be split into glucose and hydroquinone, meaning that when you apply the product, you actually apply hydroquinone with all its irritating potential. This is a theoretical risk, and to my knowledge not something that has ever happened in the wild, but now you know. The second is if you layer a lot of products with Arbutin in them. You have a hydrating serum plus Arbutin that you pair with a dedicated hyperpigmentation serum with Arbutin, then seal it with a moisturizer with Arbutin, and lastly apply a sunscreen featuring Arbutin, for example. Then you could reach concentrations so high that there might, again in theory, be a risk for paradoxical hyperpigmentation. Never heard of it happening in real life, but as always, it is best to pick your products mindfully and only use that have a purpose. Now for the use of Arbutin in pregnancy. Hydroquinone, when it enters the bloodstream in high enough concentrations, can have a negative effect on the baby. As Arbutin releases hydroquinone, you will hear some people tell you to avoid Arbutin as well, just to be safe. When I was pregnant, I didn't have Arbutin on my list of ingredients to avoid, and brands like the Inky List declare their 2% Arbutin products as safe for pregnancy and breastfeeding. Should I, heaven forbid, get pregnant again by accident in my old age, I would without any hesitation keep using Arbutin, but in full transparency, there are no studies done on absorption in the bloodstream, and most likely there never will be, which is, I admit, not a very satisfying answer, but I wanted you to know the full backstory if you read conflicting information on the internet. If you enjoyed this video, you will most likely enjoy the ones linked on the screen here. Don't forget to check out the description box for everything else I have to offer, and like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next video. See you there. Bye!